Hey everybody, this is Perch, and I'm trying to figure out between two videos I want to do, and chances are I'm going to do one and forget about the other. So that's just how it goes. So I'll lay out the two topics. One is a couple of friends sent me a Newsarama article of the most iconic LGBTQIA plus superheroes in comics, and it's a listicle kind of thing, and it's terrible. And it's terrible not because it's celebrating LGBTQIA plus couples, but it's terrible because it 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 it's just awful. It's not celebrating the couples where or the characters that a lot of writers that either I knew personally or didn't, but still put in a lot of effort to actually create a really incredible LGBTQIA plus character, and they were ignored. Or I want to do a video on something that, quote, ya boy Zach, end quote, has been talking about recently, which I'm going to summarize this way, which is why are so many people so fixated about stupid shit, which has been in his community post section. So, just talking through this with you right now, I'm going to pick the first topic, but I'll get to the second topic at some point because I do think there's a level of just like, why do you want to be upset about this? Is kind of the like what? Anyway, we'll get to that later. Let's go through these couples, and before I get into a lot of commentary on why this is so fucked up, I mean I'll let kind of you determine this because when you click on this article, it's on Newsarama, most iconic LGBTQIA superheroes in comic books. Okay, iconic. Now, for a brief moment, let's talk about what iconic means. To me, it means has had a lot of incredible moments, as is kind of firmly baked into the history of comics, who is a character who is known for these things. If you said most iconic superheroes, you would probably go Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, characters that have had thousands of adventures. Everyone knows them around the world, and they're known for being heroic for who they are. If you say most iconic LGBTQIA plus heroes, who would you think? I'll bet a lot of you have some people in mind. I definitely do, but when I clicked on this article, I have some people in mind who are, and keep in mind this is superheroes, not couples, so individual characters who are LGBTQIA plus characters, who are queer characters in comic books. And I think there are several, and there are several who have been done really well. And now is a good time to plug. If you go over to the interviews section of my channel, you'll see a wonderful interview with the late, great, and truly great creator, Rachel Pollack, who unfortunately, has passed away and left a legacy of some really incredible characters. Will her characters show up in this list? Spoiler, don't think so, but let's go through it. So the first character that comes out, Tim Drake. Tim Drake, or as the article says, the third Robin. Okay? Second character to come up. I'm just going to go through them a bit rapid fire because I think it identifies kind of the problem with this article. Kitty Pryde. Number 2, Kitty Pryde. Okay. Number 3, Mystique. Mystique, the villain. Number 4, Aquaman Jackson Hyde. I'll pause here for a moment and identify that Jackson Hyde kind of was, at least there was some indication that this character was intended to be gay from the offset, from the jump. There was, this is, no, anyway. Number 4, we're on. Alan Scott. Okay. Number 5, Loki. Number 6, North Star. I'll pause here for a moment and say I think North Star also, at least that was a thoughtful, progression of that character. And there has been some indication that creator John Byrne initially wrote him as gay from the get-go, and it was always the plan. Okay. Number, what are we on? 7, 6? I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. Hulkling and Wiccan. All right, I'm behind this one as well. These characters were written this way from the beginning, and they spent some time and effort to actually have them be iconic. Okay, next one, and good for, yeah, okay, we've remembered Rachel Pollack. I'll pause here for a second and say, if Rachel Pollack had not died, there is zero chance this character being put on this list. So this is Coagula. I'm saying this all wrong. This is part of the Doom Patrol run of Rachel Pollack, original character, Coagula, the ability to coagulate liquids and dissolve solids at will. Okay. Next one, Iceman. We all know how I feel about that one. Harley Quinn and Poison. All right. Again, we'll keep going here. Constantine. All right. Midnighter and Apollo. And I'll pause here, and you'll notice all the places I'm pausing are places where I think the creators initially had this idea, wrote stories and plots and character development to, enhance this. And so I give them credit. So Midnighter, Apollo, absolutely written this way from the jump, intended to be a good couple and is a good couple. Batwoman. Okay. Batwoman. This is the Kate Kane version of Batwoman. If you're a really old comic reader, sorry. Fine. Wonder Woman. The fuck. Okay, Wonder Woman. Sure. And basically, they're saying Wonder Woman has always been a queer character, and all right. Sure. And that's where the article ends. So. Here's the problem with this article, which you may have already discovered through the writing of this. The first problem is that there are some creators who worked really hard to actually establish queer LGBTQIA plus characters who are kind of either ignored or, just kind of tossed into the mix. Alan Scott's son, for example, just pointing that out there, and other gay characters that were, created to as representation of LGBTQIA plus people, but because they weren't popular enough, were ignored. Obsidian, ignored. Sure. I mean, fine. It also is a bit damning because over the last 5 to 6 years, there's been, look at the Pride comic. I mean, there's been so many characters created. What about Romeo or Somnius or what I think the Question? Why is the Question not on here? Not the the later Question, not the original Question. Why? Like, there's been characters that are featured in the Pride anthologies, who both publishers have been working very, very hard to promote as gay, queer, LGBTQIA queer, who are nowhere on this list. Nowhere. But we have a sprinkling, again, Hulkling and Wiccan, Midnighter and Apollo, Coagula, and North Star, who are characters that were always intended to be part of the queer community, part of that, I'm stumbling over the words, not because of any kind of awkwardness of this, but I mean, this is what our current society has done by making this stuff all so fucking impossible, that even when you have an authentic, genuine, and well-written queer character, you have to stumble around it because this shit has just gone on for so long. But they're intermixed with things, with retcons, with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is contentious, says the article. Wonder Woman has been revealed as a feminist icon. Oh, feminist now means queer. Okay. Is that right? I don't think so. When have they ever had Wonder Woman have any kind of queer sexuality reference ever? Greg Rucka said the answer is obviously yes when asked if she was a queer character. Okay. She's been linked to Steve Trevor, Batman, and Superman throughout her entire career, but sure, she's there. We've never seen it on any page, but why not? Iceman, who was retconned into this. Like, but this is a problem with articles like this, and this is a problem with comics. It's this, and it drives me crazy. And I know several of you, like Loki. What the fuck are you doing with Loki? Loki's a god. We're calling him a queer icon now. How? Loki also was like a horse or a duck or a goat at one point. Like, do you really want to open this door? I don't think you do, but okay. I mean, whatever. But the problem with all this is, and this is my stance, and I don't know if it doesn't have to be yours, but you have legitimate, strong, good, well-written, excellent, even LGBTQIA representation. You have good characters. You have people you put actual work into. Why aren't you supporting? Why do you feel the need? If you're a publisher, I almost get the fact that you want. Well, it's like, yeah, but we created Somnus, and nobody gives a shit about Somnus. Okay, fair enough. Maybe you don't have Steve Orlando creating characters. I don't know. You have Dakin. Okay, nobody gives a shit about Wolverine #4. Like, I understand. But you do have characters that you put good work into that you ignore in favor of kind of retconning existing characters into being members of the LGBTQIA plus community. And it doesn't stick. It doesn't work. You get a bunch of fans pissed off and you don't do anything with them. Iceman, you have no plans for Iceman. I'm sorry you don't. It's been now 5 years of saying how you've got a bunch of plans for Iceman and you're going to really lean into his Omega powers and all that other shit. But you don't do anything. You have the most pathetic comics come out. You treat him like a joke. I'm sorry you do. So, like, how is that supporting jack shit? This is the problem I get with your strategy. If your goal is to really support and promote LGBTQIA plus characters, then take the characters you have that are well written, crafted, here, and do something with it. Otherwise, you're just, I feel like you're just screwing around because you are just screwing around. None of this feels serious. It feels performative. If it wasn't performative, I feel like you would do, actual work with characters that, like Hulkling and Wiccan are a great example of characters that you formulated this from the start. You had some popularity there, and you decided to ignore it in favor of what? Anyway, what do you think? All right, there's your list. Most iconic characters. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Blah, 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 blah. Thanks for listening.